Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Erika Tobon-Abarca and I know a lot about a game called Lotería that is very popular in my culture and I'm so excited to share with you all. So the first thing you will need is a tabla, of course. It has 4x4 pictures of the 54 cards. Of course, you will need the deck of cards. The numbers are largely ignored, but what really matters are the pictures and of course the Spanish words that correspond to each of the pictures. And finally, you will need a marker to go on top of the images for when the card is called by the cantador. What I usually use are beans, but you can use whatever you'd like. Once you have all of that, you're ready to get started. After you have all your materials, find your favorite tabla. Mine is number 3 because it's my favorite number. And go ahead and start memorizing what is on your tabla so that when the cantador says the cards, you are ready. So I could go ahead and practice el árbol, el barril, la botella, la escalera, el valiente, el gorrito, and so forth, so that I know that I am setting myself up for success. Once you have memorized it all, you can do one of two things. You can wait for the cantador to say the cards that are on your tabla to put the beans on there, but since this game needs to be quick, what I recommend doing is putting the beans on top before the game even gets started, and that way when the cantador says the card, you can just take the bean off. I know it probably takes about the same amount of time, but I just feel like this way it's faster. Once your beans are on your tablas, you are ready to get started. So the cantador will have to say the words really, really fast. If you are the cantador, you will not be saying the numbers, unlike bingo, which Lotería is similar to. Instead, you will be saying the Spanish words on the card. So you can be a cantador and have a tabla. You just need to be quick. So you look at the deck, and if you don't have it, you move on. El camarón, we check, we don't have it. El soldado, we double check, nope. La rosa, also do not have it. El mundo, nope. El trompo, no. El violoncelo, we do have, so we would remove the bean. And of course, this process needs to be much quicker if we want to beat the people that we're playing against.
El árbol, yes. So we're going to take that one off. La chalupa, oh. La chalupa, no. El corazón, no. La luna, no. La bota, no. El bandolón, yes.
So of course, as you are playing this game, it is much easier if you're not the cantador. If you're playing with multiple people, then it is much easier if someone else is the cantador, because this is usually a very, very quick game. But just for the sake of being a beginner, of course, it would be good practice to have the deck in front of you and also have your tabla in front of you, because that way you are in control of the speed of the game. Another benefit from playing Lotería, other than, of course, having fun with your family or friends, is practicing Spanish. I feel like these words, even as a bilingual, aren't really used too often. La bandera, and finally La garza. So that was the last card, which means that I probably would have lost unless the other people missed one of the words because I was going so quickly. So although this is sort of like a game of chance, like right now, I did not have good luck, it's also a game of quickness and paying attention, which is why I really like it. If you would like to play another game and you don't know how to shuffle like I don't, what I usually do is just take the top and bottom card and just start shuffling them up that way. It's not the cleanest way to do it, but this is a really inexpensive game that is also really accessible. I found it at a grocery store, but there are also some in the swap meet and I'm sure in big chain stores like Walmart. As you can see, I did this process twice because my shuffling practice isn't super professional. So like I've said time and time again, Lotería is a very quick game, which means that you will likely not just play once, especially if you got heated or in the moment, which it tends to happen once you have decided to play again with your friends or family, and you feel comfortable enough to not look at the cards face up, what I recommend doing is turning the deck of cards over so that you are just as surprised as everyone else when you are about to say the next card from the deck. But of course, if you still do not feel comfortable, it is completely okay to have them face forward and you start again. Once you have played a few times, you more or less know what is on your card, so you can go a little bit quicker. As you can see, I am literate in playing Lotería. And although, of course, I can technically match the pictures that come from the deck to the pictures on the tabla in order to win this game, you have to know the words. So, and of course, correlate them to the pictures, which means that this game also shows that I am literate in Spanish. This connects to my background because I do come from a culture in which we speak Spanish. My dad is Mexican, my mom is Salvadorian, and so this game just reminds me of who I was before I started growing up and I started going to school. Spanish was my first language, and it really helps to sort of ground me if I am not able to say these 54 words in Spanish. How will I be able to pass it on to future generations? My hope is to someday share my native language with others if I have kids with them, but also as a future bilingual educator with many other kids. And so I love this game because I was really young when I learned to play it, and now I'm much older. But it represents that I am able, and I need to be able to show that to my future students, that being bilingual is an asset. It is not a liability.